You feel this nervousness on the phone there?
Sir, I've been trying to make an urgent phone call up there.
Well, I don't think it's something I want to do on an overseas phone.
You gotta make some phone calls. Hang up the phone. Prank caller. Prank caller.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Packernet After Dark. This is the call-in show, the Packernet Podcast Network. If you'd like to call in, if you'd like to participate in the show, please feel free to do so. The phone number here is 608-501-0718. New callers go directly to the front of the line. We don't have any new callers today, I don't think. So let's get started with TJ from Alabama.
Hey, Ryan, TJ from Alabama. Listening to the game calls and stuff, and oh my gosh, that may have been the worst game or the worst watch game in a bit. Even though all the games this year kind of have similar feels to it, where we just can't get out of our own way. And you said it, where it's every good play, literally every good play, you're just waiting for the screen to show that little flag thing, and you know it's going to happen. Even on the kickoff, the first play, Keyshawn, returns it 40 yards or whatever. A decent return, nothing great, decent. And you just wait for it, and that one kind of did the little okey-doke because it didn't happen right away. It's like, no flag. That's kind of amazing. And then, of course, 40 seconds later, flag for something I have no idea what the hell he did. I don't know if he looked kind of sideways at somebody or whatever. But yeah, we don't have, we just have a couple bloody stumps there at the bottom there because we've shot all the toes off, we've shot all our feet off, and all we got is bloody stumps. So hopefully we've gotten that out of our way. But yeah, the talent's there. You can see it. It's just the penalties and Jordan pulling a bonehead play out of his ass every now and then. Because the talent's there. You can see really good plays. You can see it. But the penalties and Jordan being a dumb whatever every now and then. Because, Jordan also throws some amazing balls. 85% of the time, I love Jordan. I think he's awesome. But in that 10% of the time where he just does dumb stuff, little frustrating. Hell, even that pass to Watson is I think that was a great pass. I'm not positive. But why the hell did Watson cut it off? It was right there. I don't know. So, hopefully, 6-3 obviously is a fine record. You better ass beat the Bears, or then it really starts getting depressing. But, my gosh, take these 2 weeks, do your self-scouting, do something, but get some discipline and just, Jordan, you can make the aggressive interception every now and then. Stop the dumb ones. All right, Ryan, that's it. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, if there's anything that gives me hope for Jordan, it's just all the other mistakes. Like the penalties and the drops and everything else. It just makes it feel like everything's a little bit off. I know we have a good record, but there's no question that there are mistakes being made outside of what is considered normal. The amount of penalties, the amount of drops, the amount of interceptions, all that stuff. This is not normal. So you just hope that whatever weird thing is floating in the air, hopefully it all gets fixed. And Jordan is a part of that. Because, again, that's the most important thing. I can handle a couple drops, and penalties are going to make me rip my freaking hair out, whatever's left. But I will put up with it if Jordan is playing at an elite level.
Hey, Ryan, TJ from Alabama. Just forgot the drops, too. Stop the drops already. And it used to be just Dontavian Wicks, and now it seems like everybody can't catch the damn ball. So, all right, that's it. Now I think I'm done. Maybe. All right, go Pack, go. That's it. Bye.
Yeah, exactly. There's just a lot of focus problems with the team. I think we're fortunate to have the record that we have. We're fortunate to have played the teams that we've played to give us the record that we've had. And, it's going to get a little tougher down the stretch, and we're going to have to play some tighter football. It's not a talent issue. It's a focus issue. You remove the penalties, the drops, and the decisions by Jordan, And this is a really, really good football team.
Hey, Ryan, Trevor, Virginia.
So,
I called last week, said, I'm sick of hearing everybody say that this isn't good enough. And I'm here to eat crow because this game was not good enough. Like, what are we doing? Oh, it's like, man, we significantly outgained them in yards and everything. Like, we just killed ourselves with penalties, and some of the penalties I thought were some crap. But even if you take those out, we still had way too many penalties. That doesn't really matter. And I don't know. How do you get 30 free yards? Like, we had 3rd and 20 coming up or something, and we get 30 free yards. It's us on their end, and we get 0 points. What are we doing? Everybody seems very mad at Love, and I know it wasn't his best day ever, obviously, but I'm not calling to be the overly positive Packer fan. That's not my thing here, because this game sucked, this team sucked. Defense was pretty good, but otherwise terrible. But it's just like, you also have how many dropped passes. Like, it was just the whole offense, aside from Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs was dominant, and then the second half, I know we were trying to come back, but you still got to stick with the run game more, I think. I don't know. This game just sucked. Everything about it sucked. Almond Rock comes in, doesn't even know how to spell Green Bay, doesn't know there's a space in his frickin' sweatshirt.
He's an idiot.
And then, did we care? Did we do anything to shut him down? No, we let him go all over us. I'm so sick of Keyshawn playing phenomenal coverage and not turning his head around and just getting these ridiculous like, Simon doesn't turn his head around, so he has no inkling that the ball is coming to put his arms up or anything. Just put your arms up and you swat that ball. Like, I don't know. I don't know. This sucked. Now we have to stew on this for 2 weeks with the bye week. Go back, though.
Yeah, and I think, you mentioned that you were upset before because people kept saying it wasn't good enough and we were winning. I think, and again, I'm not trying to rub it in your face, but this is just kind of an example of what I meant when I said it wasn't that the record wasn't good enough. It's that if this continues, I can foresee a situation where these mistakes cause us to start losing games. And that's exactly what happened against Detroit. And that's when it became, I think, very evident to everyone, because we saw Jordan throw a pick that was devastating. We saw all the different mistakes, the drops, the penalties, and everything else. Again, there were 3 plays that directly correlated to 17 points, and we lost by 10. And that doesn't include all the other ones. So if you weren't on board before with these mistakes are going to start costing us in a very serious way, you can't not see it after that game. So, yes, if you want to continue making mistakes and then just win all the way to the Super Bowl by some miracle, I would be okay with that. But the point is, I don't think that that's ever going to happen. And you start playing better teams and you're going to start losing. And our chances of actually being successful to and through the playoffs are almost 0 if this doesn't get cleaned up. That would be my thought on that.
Hey, Ryan, it's Craig from Indiana. It's Monday, and just reflecting a little bit more on the game. I never did hear what the penalty was on Keyshawn on that kickoff return.
Yeah, so it was, what the heck is it? Essentially what had happened, and this is why I didn't want to comment on it, because I had a feeling something happened after. Everybody thought it was because he knocked a guy over. It wasn't because he knocked a guy over. It was after the fact. He went and stuck his finger in the face of a Detroit Lions player. And so it was not unnecessary roughness. It was, what the heck is it? Unsportsmanlike conduct is what it was. That's what he got flagged for.
When I think it was unsportsmanlike conduct?
Yes.
Or something. So I don't know if you had insight into that.
And the reason nobody knew is because they kept cutting it off after the fact, but somebody found another angle later where that's what he ended up doing.
On the replay, they showed him, jumping, out of bounds. He had to jump over some kind of, almost looked like a boxer on some Gatorade and knocked over a guy. I didn't know if that was the penalty. If that was a crazy way to start. And then I just started listening to After Dark, and you guys were reminding me of all the other terrible penalties at the beginning, especially that Ragnow lifting his head. And then they re-show it in slow motion and go, well, it wasn't a fast movement. And I'm like, well, you're showing it in slow motion for one thing. That was such a bad call and devastating. But the way our defense played, I'm not convinced that they wouldn't have scored if they had moved back, although maybe they would have kicked the field goal if it was offside. But anyway, I digress. I was thinking more about the team itself, and I don't think it's an overreaction because when I look at our record, yeah, you're pretty happy with 6-3, but the only team we've beaten that has a winning record is the Cardinals, and that was a good game. I think that was our best overall game. Houston also has a winning record, but that was a really tight game. All the others are teams that are 500 or less. And then we've gotten beat by teams that have winning records. And I don't know how many times we've said after a game, we won't apologize for a loss, but it seems like, we won't apologize for a win, but it seems like we've said that almost every time.
I know.
And yeah, you'll take the wins, but when we're saying that, we're basically going, but we look kind of crappy. And we have all year. So I'm not convinced that the team is a good team.
Well, and this is exactly what I said essentially when I said I'm not going to make excuses for you anymore. You just have to show me. When it happens early, it's kind of hard. You have week 1, the team comes out and doesn't play well. You don't want to pile on and be like, you suck, you can't do it. You be patient. Like, okay, week 1, then week 2, week 3, and then you get to a point where we started having that split where some people were upset and some people were saying be patient. Everybody has that breaking point where you're not going to be patient anymore. Everybody does. So for some people, it might not be until you get kicked out of the playoffs because they're just the most extreme version of positive, patient fans that you can find. But I think for most of us, this was kind of a breaking point where it's like, you know what? I'm not making excuses for you anymore. You just have to show me that you're better than this. And until you can prove to me that you're better than this, I'm going to assume you're not. And that's just the way it is.
But they certainly don't show the discipline and the consistency that a good team shows. Do they have the potential? I think they do. I like to believe they do. Again, on paper they do. But they haven't shown it much at all. They haven't played a full game, at a high level this entire year, with the exception for maybe of Arizona. I'm sure hope we make the changes during our bye week and again can come out with a little different attitude, especially around the discipline and consistency part. That's what's driving me crazy. And I really don't understand the play calling on when it's 2nd and 1, but I might have mentioned that before.
3 minutes got him. Let's kick it over to part 2.
Hey, Ryan, it's Craig again. Just listened to the Packernet After Dark after the game, and also just started listening to your other podcast. Because I was going to call in, I am calling in, about the press conferences. You already covered Jordan Love being very frustrating. I know he's calm and cool and doesn't have a long-term memory, I guess. Maybe he should, though. Hey, I've done this before. Maybe I should do it again. Yeah. Very frustrating. I don't know what I expect him to say. I know those are weird situations, but but Matt LaFleur's conference is also frustrating. He actually seemed to get angry when people were pushing back on Jordan and the way he's playing and decisions he's making.
So there's a couple different things. First of all, I understand coach speak from a standpoint of just not giving the media anything. You're frustrated with yourself and you're trying to play it cool rather than saying, you know what, F you, I know I suck, but you can go shove it. I read your articles, bro, you suck at your job too. So you just kind of play it off like, whatever, yeah, we got to change some stuff, whatever. You just go through, you're frustrated, so you go through the canned answers. It is annoying, though, when everybody just goes through their canned answers and then the media guys start to push back and the coach gets upset. What do you expect them to do? They don't work for the Packers. Their job is not to just copy and paste whatever you say and call that good enough. They're trying to actually get answers, and you're refusing to give them answers, so you should know what exactly is coming. Them pushing a little bit. So yeah, it just gets to be a frustrating thing. I think the team is frustrated with themselves and wants to just tell the rest of the world to shut up and get out of my face, and we're all frustrated because we want some kind of, give us something. I think the media wants, answers as to what happened. I think for fans, at least for me, I just want to know that you have some concept of what's going on and know how to fix it moving forward. And when I hear you say, yeah, we just gotta We just got to play better. We just got to. It sounds to me like you have no concept of what's going on. You don't know why this is continually happening, and you don't even really necessarily want to address it or change anything because you assume that this is just some magical thing that's just going to go away, which a lot of fans seem to think too, and that annoys me.
Which was, again, I don't expect him to throw Jordan under the bus, but at least acknowledge that, yes, we have to make some better decisions. Might be a better response that.
Yeah, and also, this is the same crap they did with Aaron Rodgers all the time, where you throw everybody else under the bus except the quarterback, and I don't want to do that. I understand protecting your quarterback and trying to keep his mental process going strong, and you don't want to undermine him because he's so important, but, man, don't start doing that. Don't start, when somebody points out, hey, he threw a pick six in a really stupid situation, at least have the ability to come out and say, yeah, we can't have that. That can never be allowed. Don't start, well, it's on the coaching too, and it's on the offensive line to block too, and bro, we know that. We get that. But why are you only willing to throw everybody else under the bus and not the quarterback? I'm getting tired of that crap.
I love his passion to play the game or whatever. That was just frustrating. And also, he actually said something about the drops being because of the wet ball. I think it was him. I think Tucker Kraft mentioned it in his locker room. And to your point, Detroit didn't miss a drop any that I know of.
Right.
Just
excuses.
It's a combination of sometimes passes and
we can't be a team that makes excuses when nobody else does. Maybe that's why Detroit doesn't make that many mistakes, because they don't make a lot of excuses. How about we just have a mentality of no freaking excuses, do your job? How about that? Starting to sound like Aaron Rodgers now.
Catching, but it's too much. Frankly, it was just embarrassing to have that home game under those conditions, thinking, oh, this is perfect. And we're playing against the Dome team who hasn't played outside all day, and they clearly played a lot better in those situations than we did with our bad snaps, our drops. And then they blamed the Christian Watson, the ball that went over him. He seemed to stop and actually come up instead of, if he keeps running, I think he gets it, but they blamed it on the wind. Again, if you're home and Lambeau, that it gets windy and weird, why are we throwing?
That one I'm willing to be a little bit more. I don't know if that's just some excuse they made up or if that's real. I don't know. But, I don't know. Maybe we just decide to never throw the ball down the field. Or I don't know, but it's one of those things where it's out of your control, I guess. And yeah, if it keeps happening, then I guess just do what Detroit did and throw 3-yard passes all game long and see how that works out for you. I don't know, but I'm also willing to be more forgiving of Christian Watson because he hasn't been a problem. This is where when I see Dontavian Wicks drop a pass in the end zone and the pass was bad, if Dontavian Wicks had no drops on the season and it was rainy and a bad pass, I'd be more willing to forgive him. The dude he feels like he has more drops this year than receptions. So I'm not willing to give him any slack whatsoever. Frickin' do your job for once this year, please.
Bombs, right? Just throw the shorter passes, which is my reason again to go to Malik in this weather condition. That's what he's going to throw.
Yeah.
And that's what we needed to throw. That's what Jared Goff did.
Right.
And looked like a hero. Anyway, we have to adjust. It's crazy. And yes, I wish they wouldn't keep playing Quay. He was out of position so many times. It was terrible.
Painful.
And we did not take advantage of Branch being out of the game, which we should have. But
that's probably where the deep shots.
Let's get rested up and healed. Bye.
Yeah, you just hope that they go back to looking at things and start making some smarter decisions, because that's stupid. It's just dumb. I didn't realize we're getting this late into it, but let's take our first break. We'll come back and hear from Nate. And I don't see any naughty words from Nate. This might be an interesting call. We'll be right back.
Hey, it's Nate.
What's up,
I have
Nate?
no idea when this call is going to get played. I'm sure we're all calling in because we're all pretty frustrated.
I got quite a few.
I was listening to your podcast today, and obviously, exact same feelings going on and everything. It's just not the kind of season that I was hoping for. And I just would be repeating everything that you already said, but again, this is not a playoff team. If you're going to go into these games and you're going to get that many penalties, that's not going to work in the playoffs. It's just not. It's just not. And my theory at this point, since who knows what's actually going on, my theory is that it's Matt LaFleur. Now, I know that's going to make a lot of people angry because I'm not saying he's not a great offensive mind, but I'm saying I just don't know if he has that extra spark of like the genuinely good coaches. You know, the coaches that can bring you to a Super Bowl. Like, he just doesn't inspire. Like, when I watch him give speeches even after wins, it feels like the Boy Scout troop leader, sort of thing, or like, to be a better example, anybody who went to like catechism classes or went to a Catholic high school. I don't know if you had, this guy, there was always like that former, drug addict guy who turned his life around, became born again Christian. Maybe this was just a guy at my school, but he would bring his guitar and he would just like play songs and talk about Jesus. And that's what I think of. I'm like, he's so just, I can't even, there's no word I can think of for it, but he just doesn't have that inner fire that I'm looking for in a head coach. So that's what I think. That's just me being honest. I don't know if Matt LaFleur is that guy. And again, we're technically have a winning season right now. So like, how much do we have to complain? But that's the problem, is it's never going to be great. It's always just going to be good. And that's what you got to ask yourself if you're okay with. So go.
Yeah, and I mean that is the question. Like, it's not a question of are you content so far with your record? It's, are you content with the level of play being good enough to win moving forward? Are you content that, yes, this team that I'm watching right now is a team that's going to be beating the crap out of all these other teams? Is that, do we believe that is the situation? If yes, then great, I guess. I don't know how you believe that. Maybe you're just not watching other football teams as they go on to, win and do cool stuff. But I don't know. I don't know what you're looking at if you're watching this team and just saying, "Oh yeah, this is a Super Bowl team right now," because it's not. And so I think that's where the more positive fans just really lean into, well, obviously they're going to fix it. Obviously they're going to fix it, which I'm sorry, I just don't think you're convincing anyone with that. And as I've said before, that's still not an excuse. It's not an excuse. We'll figure it out by week 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 is not good enough. It's one thing to give some grace in the first 2 to 3 weeks because of the whole preseason thing or whatever. It's another thing to say, yeah, it takes us a half a season or more to figure it out. That's not good enough. It's just not. I mean, we'll get over it once you start winning and we have a shot at the playoffs, but we got to have a conversation going into 2025 about this because we can't keep doing this crap, man. It's just stupid. Can't hear you super good.
I hope you're doing better. I know we're in a bit of a cranky mood. That's why I didn't call in, especially after I heard what you were saying about Jordan Love, which he 100% needs to pick it up. Because that interception was his fault. He admitted to that. He did admit that he did not see Kirby Joseph, but he also said the ball didn't go where he wanted it to, which I'm guessing was more to the right than, lobbing it right in front of him. So yeah, he probably should have just thrown it away. But that sucks. Kirby Joseph playing like whack-a-mole coming out of the hole there. Or maybe a groundhog, who knows. But I gotta say, even though he didn't have the best game, those were some crisp, fast passes, man. Like, he got some zip on that ball, man. I was kind of surprised. I mean, I know people talk about Aaron Rodgers, a Brett Favre fan. He can throw it like getting it in there. A lot of fastballs that were dropped today. And then I keep seeing quote-unquote domination.
Well, and that is a point that probably should be made. Yeah, I remember when they were talking about what the heck is his name? Trevor Lawrence. And there was a huge narrative about how he's so unlucky because all of his guys keep dropping passes all the time. And until somebody sat down and said, no, it's the way he throws the ball. That's why everybody's dropping things. Like, he's throwing rockets when he doesn't need to. Like, all these balls, they're just stupid. Like, any group of wide receivers would be having a ton of drops in this situation. I'm not saying definitively that's the case, but when you have a issue with a bunch, like all your receivers suddenly can't catch passes, it's worth at least asking if maybe that's part of it. And there have been some situations of like throwing rocket balls when it's completely unnecessary. And again, constantly throwing behind guys is getting really old. And then we have to have this stupid conversation about, well, you still should have caught it. Great. But I'm not going to change what I'm saying. If you want less drops, throw better passes. It's just the reality. You can not like that all you want. That's the reality. There's going to continue to be high levels of drops when you don't throw the ball where it should be.
The Lions. I keep seeing this all over the place now. I'm just like, brother, come on. We beat ourselves. Like, the people, I keep commenting, you mean the Packers beat themselves, right? And they're like, no, the Lions dominated them. I'm like, well, you didn't really watch the game, did you? And then also, I don't know if you noticed, but one of the announcers was Brady, and he kept oozing all over. Gosh, and I think it's because he sees Captain Touchdown incarnate. Self, now Brady will still, has one of the championships. But man, he did throw a lot of checkdowns in his day. So I think it'll pass over, and come next game, I think we'll be ready to beat him. Have a good day. With that said.
Well, I get the perspective, but again, I'm not going to just declare that it's going to happen. At least not anymore. I will. I'm officially in. I'll believe it when I see it mode.
Hey, Ryan. I'm sitting here at Applebee's, about to enjoy my Pick 6 free boneless wings. Not. You know what they are, Ryan? You know what they are, really? You got Dan Campbell going on TV and saying, "Come get your free boneless wings after every Pick 6." You know what those are? They're Matt LaFleur's balls, barbecued. Matt LaFleur is a wimp. He is afraid of Dan Campbell. He gets intimidated. He calls plays that are intimidated. I am sick of it. I am so sick of it. Run the damn ball, Matt LaFleur. When you got a quarterback that is clearly not 100%, who shouldn't have been playing, goes out there making stupid mistakes. I mean, freaking stupid sixth grader mistakes. I love Jordan Love, but I'm sorry, that is a benchable. What he did, Malik deserved to play that game, is all I can say. Malik deserved to play that game and prove that, you know what? If we run the ball and play mistake-free football, we could win this game. That game was winnable, Ryan. But we lost that game because Love made stupid mistakes. And Matt LaFleur called plays that he was intimidated. Intimidated. I'm sorry, but you know what? When you admit, Tom Brady, you spend $100 a week to get your eyebrows waxed and your mustache trimmed and stuff, I'm sorry, dude. Go out there like the rest of us, buy a trimmer at Walmart, and do it yourself. That's embarrassing. I'm sick of this metrosexual stuff. I'm just sick of it.
Tell him, Garrett.
Quit being so caught up in your appearance and maybe spend some more time behind your desk thinking about what you're going to do to win this game. I am sick of it, man. Sick of it.
Yeah, it's not exactly a I don't know that anybody be confused with Matt LaFleur as like a man's man, you know what I mean? He's no Dan Campbell. He's not Mike McCarthy for that matter. He's got his whatever. I don't know. I don't know how directly or indirectly that's causing the problems, but yeah, dude, it would be nice to just, I don't know. I don't know. Some people care about stuff like that. I don't understand it for me necessarily, but listen, if you want to freaking shave your chest and wax your eyebrows and call a good game plan and get your team ready, as long as the players can focus after staring at the beauty of your face, I guess I don't care. But if it came down to the part where you had to sacrifice that, I hope you would. Maybe just don't shower for a day. Just sleep at your desk and stink and wear ratty old dirty clothes and don't comb your hair and just see what happens. Might like it. Who knows? A couple extra hours less in the bathroom and actually working on the game plan. Just a thought.
Hey, Ryan, it's Craig again. I guess it's a good thing we have a bye week. You might be getting lots of calls after that game. Another thing, you mentioned the linebackers. When I saw the graphic come up on the screen that said the starting linebackers were McDuffie and Quay and Wilson, I couldn't believe after getting Defensive Player of the Week and just the way he's been playing that Cooper's sitting on the bench. I don't get it. I don't get the Quay experiment. And I know that's not where Cooper necessarily plugs in, but it seemed like Wilson was doing fine there and Cooper was doing great where he was playing. I've heard Matt say that, well, yeah, Edgerton's doing really well, but I think he said there seems to be, he doesn't always line up in the right spot. But I think I'd rather have a guy who doesn't line up in the right spot but gets to the freaking ball versus Quay who might line up in the right spot but runs away from where the action is. Oh, he's shooting the wrong gap. It is. You just watch him on the field and it's not good. So that was disappointing. And then hearing Matt in the press conference talk about, well, yeah, we knew that he wasn't fully ready or physically, wasn't fully something he said about Jordan. And I don't get that either. Again, they knew that he wasn't fully healthy. And he said he talked to him, I think, in the tunnel during halftime, and he said he was okay. But to me, that's like, the manager going to the pitcher mound and talking to the pitcher and saying, hey, buddy, you okay? You've been throwing him into the dirt. You've been throwing him over the catcher's head, and you doing all right? And a couple throws ago, it looked like you came up a little gimpy. You doing good? Oh, yeah, I'm doing fine. Okay, I'll just let you in here, even though this is the most important game of the year, and this might determine whether or not we go to the playoffs or we're in first place. But, I'll just walk away from the mound because you told me you were okay. At some point.
And I understand the argument that you don't want to make it look like they benched him, but you had an excuse when he started limping. And you even set up your excuse even further last week when you had that stupid comment about we didn't feel he could protect himself. Because even if Jordan was going to be upset and he's like, no, I'm fine, you could just drop that line again. Like, I don't know, dude, I don't think you can protect yourself. Why don't you just sit and wait and we'll have the trainers check you out a little bit, throw around the ball and put in Malik. Just do it. And if it starts going better, guess what? We really don't think he can protect himself. And if it doesn't, well, then maybe he's feeling better. Okay, you sure? Doc, you good? Okay, all right, get back out there, champ. You know what I mean? You gave yourself an excuse. You should have used it, in my opinion.
Matt, you got to make the call and pull the guy, and you have a good relief sitting on the bench who is fully capable and has demonstrated that. It's not like we have Clifford or someone else sitting on the bench who can't show that they can win a game. Malik has done that. It's just really maddening for him to admit that he was fully, in fact, started praising about how he was playing through the pain and the injury.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. I don't blame the loss on Jordan completely. Clearly he got a big play in it, but again, that's just a bad coaching decision. And so it's a bad coaching decision about Quay versus Cooper in my mind as well. I'm out.
Yeah, I mean, look, there are things that are going really well. Let's not forget that. Not everything is going terribly. But there are certainly things that need to be fixed and worked on. Certainly some disagreements that I have with things that were done. I agree that you should have at least given Malik an opportunity. As soon as your quarterback started limping, knowing how bad things were going, Just try it, man. Run the Malik offense because that thing really seems to be working. It seems like a great opportunity in this weather. It's not even necessarily an indictment of Jordan, man. He's having a bad day. One of the things I've been saying about this team for a long time, ride the hot hand. I don't care who your number one running back is. I mean, Josh Jacobs has been great, but sometimes he has an off day. And sometimes Wilson or Brooks is just tearing it up. So just ride the hot hand. Like when we started off the season, it was throwing to Wicks, and the guy was not it. And Reed was going off, and we just didn't throw it to him. Listen, just adapt. Reed is your hot hand right now. Play that hand. I don't know. The Quay thing also drives me nuts. It sounded like we really figured something out when we put Wilson at Mike, and he just exploded. He loved that position. Edrin, I think, is our best linebacker right now. He's obviously inconsistent, got some stuff to learn, but he is a gifted person. And to ruin all of that for the sake of Quay, who is, every time I watch him, my eyes roll into the back of my head. Sometimes people make mistakes. Jordan makes mistakes, but you watch him play, the guy just looks fantastic. It's just once in a while he does something stupid. Same with Jair. Like, he's a really sticky, talented corner and all that, but sometimes he does something stupid or whatever. But then there are some guys you just watch and it's like, why are you on a football field? I hate to get to that point, but I've never watched Quay and just thought, dang, dude, that's why he's here. That's the talented part that we need to see more. I just don't think I've ever seen that. He's a good tackler if he can actually get to the person and square up, which is rare. Stokes, same thing. Like, I don't watch Stokes and just think, dang, man, this guy is gifted. If only he could just stop slipping. No, I just watch him and it looks like he's drowning out there. But all right, let's take our final break. We'll come back and hear from Jacob.
What up, Packernet? Wanted to give a quick shout out to Chris from Alabama. Loved hearing you call in yesterday, man. Anyways, all right. Oh, hate losing divisional games. I think you're definitely right, Ryan, about I think everybody's over the excuses, man. Like,
yeah.
Everybody's saying, hey, Jordan, he's hurt. Well, dude, I got some news, man. Like, if you're cleared to go and you go out there and play like dog crap, well, you kind of lose the, I'm hurt thing because, you went out there and played, man.
Right, and beyond that, I didn't see any issues with his throwing ability, and the big play that everybody's upset about had nothing to do with an injury. Nothing. That was a mental problem. Unless your injury is mental, then I don't want to hear any stupid excuses.
So if you're that hurt, you're gonna have to sit out, man. But unfortunately, if you're a Packers quarterback, unspoken rule, you got to be tough. All right. So not saying he's not tough, but the excuses, like, kind of over it. Like, just play better. And another thing that's getting a little annoying is, like, dude, I'm kind of tired of hearing about, all the Packers, they had all this offense, and same thing in the Vikings game. We put up like 500 yards offense, but can't find the end zone enough. 400 yards offense in the rain is all I hear on Twitter from people. Well, guess how many times we found the end zone? Literally zero. Like, we're doing none of the important things right. So, yeah, whatever. Go Pack. Shout out to Chris from Alabama. Yeah, bye week. I'll take it, man. I'll take a bye week this week. But, hey, still 6-3. Still 6-3. Not the end of the world. Go Pack.
Yeah, I think a bye week was needed at this point in time. It just was not going super well, I don't think, for anybody, and they just need some time to get their head straight because, I don't know, get healthy and just unwind a little bit. Just let's freaking calm down, go lay down with your playbook, and freaking figure it out.
Hey, Ryan, what's going on? This is Aaron.
What's up?
So this is something Monday. And anyways, so I've been thinking about how the Packers have been playing this season so far. And honestly, I feel like they've kind of done themselves a disservice in a way by winning 6 games already. Because it kind of shows like, hey, yeah, we've made mistakes, but we can win with these mistakes. So we don't really have to get better. And I hope that's not what they're thinking. I mean, if that's what they're thinking, that is freaking garbage mindset. And a really bad habit to fall into, because it's just like, yeah, they've been able to win with making these mistakes, but that's not going to be able to be sustainable in any sort of way, especially down the stretch or especially in the playoffs. Like, the fact that they've won, I mean, there has to be a comfort in that. And that comfort is not a good thing. Like, I'm happy, like, don't get me wrong, I'm very happy that we're 6-3. It's great. But at the same time, like, I think being 3-6 last year, like we were at this point, that gets us through your head, like, yeah, we really need to be better. We cannot keep doing this. And it sparks something. So what being 6-3 this season isn't as, let's say, beneficial for the Packers. Because it's, I don't want to compare them to the Chiefs, but the Chiefs aren't very good and they're undefeated right now. But the thing is, at the end of the day, I know that the Chiefs know what it takes to win because they have Pat Mahomes, they have Andy Reid, and they have won. And so whatever issues they're going to have, they'll probably get over, even though they're kind of not a good team. That could change tonight, who knows. But it's just, they need to get better, right? This team has all the potential in the world, and the fact that they keep beating themselves is not a good thing. Like, you can look at it and say, oh yeah, they keep, like, if they would just get better, yeah, if they just get better, and that's a big if. We saw it last year, but that doesn't mean that's going to happen again. And I think they know that. Anyways, I'm coming up on the Toby Flenderson in 3 minutes, so bye.
Yeah, and that was a point that I had made before, too, that, you know, not only can you not just assume, well, we did it the last 2 years, therefore it has to happen again. That's just not how that works. It's also a different situation because they're a better team, and so maybe there isn't that urgency. That thing that pushes them to where it's like, if we don't turn this around today, our season is over. They don't have that. I don't know what that means. I don't know if it means anything, but it is different than in past years. And so we shouldn't probably just assume that everything is going to be hunky-dory and just perfectly fine. All right, I'm going to leave you guys with that. You guys have a good rest of your day, night, whatever. I'll talk to you later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.